What? We're on stream.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
seriously, no. But seriously, much of I can hear you, Famrock, but I absolutely adore anybody who runs I Want to Be the Boshy. Because the Boshy runs are simply the coolest thing in the world, honestly.
I'm glad you think that. I'll try my best not
Alright,
to
so
die everywhere.
Ready?
Oh, the deaths make it
Instead
better.
Let me check if I'm...
Ooh,
is
whoa,
set.
except I just spilled a whole bunch of stuff on my floor. Okay, that's great. Okay. No, it's okay. I'm good. I thought I did, but I didn't. It was empty.
Alright, well, I'm ready
Okay.
whenever.
Yeah. Whenever you want me to hit the timer, what I'll have you do is count down from 3, and when you, it's like 1, 2, 3, go, and I hit the timer on go.
Alright, let's go then. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay,
Hello?
You're rolling.
Yes. Hello, I'm Famrock, and this is I Wanna Be the Boshy, which is a 2D platformer game made by Solgrim on Twitch. And this game is pretty standard in terms of control. You have your jump, a double jump, you can shoot. You have these save points that I will heavily manipulate into... Well, I'm gonna save at very specific points and restart to kinda like just breeze through all the cycles. So I basically don't have to stop at many points. So this is World 1, based on a game called Prehistoric, and it's pretty straightforward. There are some strats that can save like 2 seconds over the ones I'm using. I need like 3, but with the current strats I'm using, the world is pretty straightforward. So there are some things other than jump shoot. You also have a moonwalking ability, which will come in handy later. And I'm also gonna die a lot, because this is a game that is meant to die a lot. And I'm also gonna mash a lot, as you can hear. This is the first boss, Hello Kitty, also pretty straightforward. But actually one of the harder bosses to quick kill. And I did mess it up a bit, so I didn't get the fastest cycle, but I got the second fastest cycle. That's the meat grinder. It used to be extremely hard, but then a runner by the name of Illusion found a very simple trick, which involves the moonwalking. So this world is also pretty straightforward. It has got some difficult parts. I'll show you later. Oops. Wow. So yeah, this is definitely not one of those runs where you kinda do everything perfectly. A lot of the jumps are extremely precise. Not this one though. Just for some clarification on why people like it's not one of those runs where like a death means a reset is one. Usually a death will only lose a few seconds, because unlike other games, whenever you press R, you instantly reset any cycle and from the save point. So it's not like Mario where you have to like do the whole level and from a checkpoint or whatever. So you just get to go again instantly. This is known as the shaft. This is like one of those hard jumps in this world. Okay, we got it. Third try, not too bad. I'm not sure if they're saying fuck you or fuck yeah, to be honest. Oh wow. So we're gonna do that a few times in the run, using the save points to jump and skip certain parts of the stage. Having a bit of a cold, so excuse me if I sneeze loudly, but as you can hear, it's not the only loud thing in this game. Okay, so coming up is the King DDD mini boss. Oh, this diagonal, too hard. Alright, so basically you just mimic his moves. And then you shoot him and try to push him off the stage. It can be done in 3 cycles, but I've only ever been able to do it a few times because wow, okay, so what just happened is I entered the inputs on the same frame and you just explode if you do that. So you have to have a slight delay. So yeah, the 3 cycle is really difficult. Like I've already managed to pretty much make it impossible for me to get it. Because you pretty much need to shoot 5 bullets every time and they all need to hit. There are a few runners that can get it quite consistently. I'm not one of them. So yeah, I was lacking like 5 shots, which doesn't seem like much, but it really is. Whoa. Okay, so Ryu is the next boss, and this is one of those bosses where you really need to mash a lot, so I have a weird technique for mashing, so it might be kinda loud at some points. Wow, I actually missed 1 bullet. So basically by killing him quickly, we skip all the difficult parts of the fight. Okay, so that's Ryu. Now we just have to wait for this little cutscene. Next boss, next world I mean, coming up is based on Cheetah Man. One of those notoriously bad games. Pretty sure most of you know about it. Gonna reset in the cycle so we get past here faster. And again. So this world has some like kinda difficult platforming. This pattern is a bit RNG, so sometimes you're gonna have to see me wait. Whoops. It should be fine. Everyone kinda develops their own method for that second Cheetah Man room, the one I just passed. Ow, I jumped way too high. So if you look at any runner, like almost no one will use the same technique for this room. I'm kinda dying mid-air for some reason, I don't know why. Oh. Yo, what's up, Ace? I'm not really like getting any good patterns that let me pass here. I think I found one. Basically, this game is just like, it takes from a lot of different things. A lot of games, like a lot of inside Twitch jokes. There's, for example, a Kappa boss that I will not fight because I don't need it for this route. I should be fine. Marathon runner usually makes a backup save point for that, because you can fuck it up, and it's also you can soft lock the game from doing it. So, but I'm quite consistent at it, so it's fine. Okay, so I removed the double shot glitch now, so now I can have 5 bullets. And that's because Skeleton King doesn't take extra damage from the double shots. And there are some other bosses that work the same way. So I get really good RNG. Usually Skeleton can kill you if he feels like it, if all these fireballs spawn close to you. Oh my god, I was too early. Usually you jump up there and you land on that platform. Because the closer you are to the boss, the more shots you can shoot, of course, because of the bullet limitation. These orbs, these fireballs spawn in like at any point and like at any position, and they can also spawn in different angles. So I wish I could get the quick kill, but sadly I have to go down here. I had to jump down a few times too many. So the fight is not technically over yet. You have to shoot this little blue guy. And then just avoid some spikes. It's pretty easy. Just jump over them or stay below them. So the next world is based on several different games. I know the tile set is from Milan's Secret Castle, but I'm not sure about the music. So I'm just gonna have to wait for this elevator. There is a trick that saves about 5 seconds, which involves resetting, but it makes it extremely precise, and I'd probably just lose more time trying to do it. So here's F-Zero's little, I'm not sure what it's called, car. I never played an F-Zero game, so you might want to cover your eyes. So another runner found this strat where you can basically just make a small delay in your movement, and then you can pretty much just walk. I'm not sure if I will make this, to be honest. I'm just gonna go over. Usually you bonk to that one of those boxes. Again, using the save points to kinda make this a bit faster. Oh, that was close. So this world is just simply like a bunch of different difficult platforming. Okay, so ideally you want to rebind your keys while you're on the move, like, or when you're not on the move, I mean. So you don't lose any movements from having to use the mouse and whatever. Yes, this is from Metal Gear. So, like in World 2, these spikes kinda react to your jumps, and these as well. So we need the double shot glitch again, that's why I activated it earlier. We're gonna need it for Mega Man, which is the next boss. And this is really one of those bosses where you just like skip 2/3 of the fight just by killing him a lot earlier than intended. So he's dead already, and I'm gonna rebind now during the boss. You can still shoot him. He's supposed to die a lot later than that, but... These act upon your current momentum. That little segment there is pretty hard. There are strats that you can do to not have to reset, which resets those little guys again because they disappear when you jump on them, so you're free to just walk right, but it's pretty difficult. The strat I use is kinda simple, it just makes it a lot easier. I'll read that in a bit. So World 8 is based on Mega Man, I guess. And it's a mix of difficult platforming and auto-scrollers, so obviously you'd lose a lot of time by dying to the auto-scrollers. So I'm gonna try and not die. Fortunately, they are quite easy, so it's not too big of a deal. But when you do die, it's pretty devastating. Oof. Good thing I didn't try and reset there too early. Otherwise I would have had to do the whole thing again. Yeah, sure, well, it's quite a bit left. Okay, take back what I said. No, but really, this is quite easy for a runner. Yeah, that's the difficult part of this save. You kinda need to like walk forward, so you drop down and then get back on. Yeah, so it's a bit like finicky because depending on your current position on this little platform here, it takes a different amount of time to drop down, and it's not the most consistent thing in the world. Okay, so we got it. Good. Now we just have to make sure we don't die to this fire. So this is a good level design room. Solgrim named it this because it was the part of the game that took the most time to design. As you can see, it is a masterpiece. And what it is just a series of really difficult platforming segments This one being the hardest in my opinion. Okay, we got it on first try, that's good. Also this little drop plane, as we call it, in the fan game community is quite difficult as well. So Chang Tsung is the next boss, and he's every runner's favorite boss. And by that I mean he's every runner's most dreaded and feared boss, because he kills a lot of runs. He's basically 100% pattern, except for one attack that can just kill you, and that's this attack. Kinda, sometimes the bloods go so extremely high that they come down at such extreme speed that it's sometimes just basically impossible to dodge it unless you get lucky. Fortunately I got quite good RNG, so I was able to react to it. So this world is based on Kid Icarus, so you kinda just have to work your way up, at least for the most part. These turtles are a bit weird, because sometimes you can just go straight through them, or when you land on them you'll die. Fortunately it's not that often though, but it's... wow. I used my double jump to jump off instead of my regular jump. For me this is one of those rooms where like I either... oh, okay. I was supposed to die there, but fortunately I got the bug, so I was just able to move straight through it from the bottom and up. In this room, it's kind of mirrored to the one, like the layout on the right, so you just have to remember where everything is. So up, wow. So incoming here is the fire. It's one of those where... why is it not... I'm not getting my double jump. Just gonna take it slow, there we go. So here we need double shot again, and this can either go really good or really bad. Basically, what you can do with double shot is that if you hit them several times with several shots, they can actually remove some of the splits, or like the fire splits, and it removes you having to kill like a lot of them. So that fire was pretty good, not great, but it was alright. Oh, it can definitely just backfire. So you need to push these little boxes around, and they are a bit weird, but it's not too bad. We have kind of developed some strats for it, so to make it weird, to make it less weird. Because sometimes they just, it kind of feels like they would have like a will of their own, but I would say that it's very close to 100% up to the runner if it goes the right way. So that's another spider. This is the hardest boss in the game. So that was really hard. I'm happy I got that first try. In all seriousness though, the developer of this game left like a test function in the game for one attack, so you can just spam that and he will just freeze in place. But you want him to spawn low, otherwise you can't just mash through him. So sometimes you kind of need to reset and hope that he spawns low again, so that can waste some time. Okay, so World 10 is very interesting because, for one, it's really difficult, and the other thing is that if you play well, you get extremely rewarded, and if you play bad, you get punished a lot. And that is due to how the way those little red boxes in the corners here, you see. Basically, if I'm able to not die, they will stay in the same state as before, which means that the walls later on will be still like open, because those boxes remove and add walls depending on like if they're activated or not. Oh wow, I didn't get a double jump, that's weird. So what I did earlier was that I skipped a huge segment, or not a huge segment, but it's quite a tricky segment because it's very precise. So I both saved time, plus I saved a huge, or well, a portion of the world. And unfortunately I won't get the second skip because I died earlier. Okay. For some reason when you shoot here it tries to use your jump as well. I'm not sure why. I think it has something to do with these vines, as we call them. Basically they're like, it's just a wall jumping mechanic. So this is just another auto-scrolling segment. So if I didn't die, these walls wouldn't have been here. So I would have just been able to go straight to the left and to the boss. But sadly, because I died, I'm gonna have to activate this block. And now I can go through. So this is Missing No. Missing No has a certain amount of attacks. Tri-attack is probably the worst one. I think he has like 7 or 8 attacks, 3 of them being good, some of them being like average, and Tri-attack being the worst, because Tri-attack is the one that can actually completely block you out. So there are, let's see what we get. Okay, Rock Throw is the second worst one. And we kind of determine this depending on difficulty, time of the attack, like the duration, and also the amount of time you get to attack the boss. So Razor Leaf is the third worst, so I've gotten the 3 worst attacks, and I've gotten Tri-attack again. So I've gotten 4 of the worst attacks in a row. Wow. I thought I was going to die there. And to determine if you have a really bad Missing No, it's when this wow. Okay, Recover is the best attack. You can pretty much deal half of his HP, so I got it the last, of course. But yeah, if it goes to that fast part of the music, of the song, that's when you know you have a really bad Missing No. So this is save hovering, similar to the trick in World 4. There's a save point at the very beginning of this world, which every time I press reset, I will spawn for 1 frame just next to that save point. So if I hold jump and shoot, I will be able to slowly jump a few frames at a time, save, reload, jump a few frames, save, reload, jump a few frames, and so on. And that's how I was able to kind of hover my way up there. So this is a Mario Desert. It has this kind of, like, it swings back and forth a bit, so it's a bit disorienting, but This world isn't too bad. It's kinda easy for most runners. Or well, most runners would consider it quite easy. These little blocks, when you shoot them, they kinda do a full jump for you, so you have to time it well so that you can use your full jump to its full potential as well. So those three, you kinda just have to time them right. So here we skip a huge section, which is actually like the World 11 boss. It's a tower that you have to go through, and it's really, really difficult. Plus it's like a few minutes long as well, so... So this is the final tower. Just before the final boss. No one really dies here, because there's nothing that's very precise. And yes, this song is from Terranigma. So this is the final boss, and he is a box of oatmeal. Because Solgren, the maker of this game, decided it would be fun. Because Solgren is the name of the brand of that Danish oatmeal. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mash the freaking frick out of my keyboard. And I will almost kill him. Either you kinda take away all his HP in that one go, or you can do it in a later phase. It's not too bad. And what this allows me to do is to skip the final phase, because the fourth and final phase is kind of made so that you finish off whatever HP is left, and there I just had to guide the orbs into him so that it kind of depletes his shield. So this is just kind of a tribute to all the different bosses. This is a car NG part, as we call it. It can completely block you, but it's rare. Usually it's not a problem. There's Mario, Biolante, and Shanglad for the final time. Although this Shanglad is not as difficult. And there's our final spiders. So because his HP is 0 now, I'm going to skip the whole of the final phase. And by the way, get ready on time, it's in like 20 seconds or so. So this is a phase where you kind of just finish off the rest of the HP, and you can kind of just walk back, and this one won't hit you. So get ready on time. It's like in 3, 2, 1, time. So that's I Wanna Be the Boshy. It's a fun little platforming game. If you're interested, you can get it off of greensoft.org, I do believe is the webpage. Or you can just go to twitch.tv/solgrin. It's free, of course, otherwise he would have lawyers after him every day. It's very difficult on a first playthrough, especially if you're not interested in these kinds of games. To like shed some light, this is what's known as an I Wanna Be the Guy fan game. And I Wanna Be the Guy, it was the first of like the original platforming game that was just simply consisting of killing you a lot. That was the main goal. You had to kind of use trial and error to get your way through. This game is a bit more skill based and less like knowing what you have to do, but it certainly has its share of traps, as we call it, which means that you basically need to know what's coming, because you won't be able to react to it, so it's kind of a trial and error thing. if you run through this game a few times, you will find that it's actually quite manageable to speedrun. There's like a few very precise jumps, of course, but due to the save point, the save checkbox, we can just manipulate patterns so easily, so some of the saves become a lot easier than they would on a regular playthrough. And of course, one of the main boundaries between like a new and an experienced runner is how to develop a way to mash really fast, because if you can mash well, you'll save an extreme amount of time on bosses. So like one shout out really, and I want to make a shout out to the wannabes community, which is twitch.tv/team/wannabes, I think, or the wannabes. I'm not exactly sure. I can perhaps post it in the chat. And we are a group of people who all play these kinds of games, which is I Wanna Be the Guy fan games, and there are thousands of fan games because they are quite easy to make, but there are also some really good ones, like this one. This is one of the, in my opinion, best ones from like a, how do you say it, like a quality standpoint. But there are a lot of different varieties, so I want to just shout out to the wannabes. And I believe that's everything for me. Thank you all a lot for watching this run. It was really fun, and as you can see, it's quite an intense run, and sometimes everything doesn't really go your way, but I was able to make it under the 45-minute mark, which was my goal. So I just had a blast. Right, so next run, not sure exactly. Crash Bandicoot Ticket Quest. I'll leave it over to the management, and goodbye.